So you've got your tank all set up and you're ready to add some new fish to your community aquarium. But wait, not every fish is as peaceful as they seem. In today's video, we're going to dive into the 10 worst community fish choices out there and why they're absolutely horrible ideas for your peaceful tank. Trust me, you'll want to avoid these species if you want to keep things calm and stress-free in your aquarium. We all know how challenging it can be to choose the right fish for a community setup, but don't worry, I'm here to help you make the best choices for a thriving, peaceful tank. So grab your notebook because you're going to want to take notes. Let's jump in. Now, let's kick things off with one that you might not expect: goldfish. Yep, I'm starting with the classic mistake that many beginners make. Goldfish are often sold in pet stores as the perfect fish for beginners, but here's the thing: they are terrible community fish. First of all, goldfish can grow huge. We're talking up to 12, 14 inches long in some cases. So unless you have a massive tank, and I mean massive, think 50 gallons or more, they're just not going to fit in a standard community aquarium. And here's the kicker: goldfish produce a ton of waste. This means your filter will constantly be working overtime, and your water parameters will fluctuate, which is not ideal for many community fish that thrive in stable conditions. Plus, goldfish are cold water species and need cooler temperatures to thrive, while most tropical community fish prefer warmer waters. So unless you're willing to create a whole separate environment for your goldfish, they just don't mix well in a tropical tank. Next up, we've got neon tetras. I know, they're beautiful, and those bright blue and red colors make them seem like the perfect community fish. But they're actually pretty fragile, especially when they're kept in less than ideal conditions. Here's the issue: neon tetras are very sensitive to changes in water quality and need a mature, stable tank to thrive. If your tank isn't properly cycled, or if you've just set it up, neon tetras will likely struggle. They're also prone to diseases like neon tetra disease, which can wipe out your whole school of fish in no time. And if you're planning to mix them with other fish that aren't careful with water parameters, or you don't maintain that perfect balance of temperature and water chemistry, you're setting yourself up for failure. So while they may look pretty, they need a tank that's in tip-top shape, and most new tank setups don't have that stability. Okay, betta fish. Now this one might surprise some of you because bettas are often seen as a beginner-friendly fish, but trust me, they're one of the worst choices for a community tank. The truth is, bettas are extremely territorial. Males, in particular, will absolutely fight to the death if they're kept in close quarters with other males. And while they're fine in a tank by themselves, they're notorious for attacking any fish that resembles them, which can be a real problem when you try to add them to a peaceful community tank. Even the females can get aggressive if they feel their space is being invaded. So unless you have a super large tank with tons of hiding spots and lots of space, betta fish are best kept alone. They're just not the best fit for a peaceful community. Let's talk about cichlids, specifically the more aggressive species like Oscar cichlids or Jack Dempsey cichlids. While they're stunning fish with amazing personalities, they do not play well with others. Cichlids can get territorial, especially as they mature. Their aggressive behavior can cause constant stress for the other fish in your tank, and they're also known to bully smaller, more peaceful species. If you're looking to create a calm community setup, cichlids are not the way to go. They'll tear up plants, destroy tank decor, and may even chase other fish around. If you're a beginner or even an intermediate hobbyist, I would strongly suggest you skip these guys unless you're ready for the challenge of a species-only tank. If you think regular goldfish are a bad idea, fancy-finned goldfish are an even worse one. Why? Because their long, flowing fins and slower movements make them an easy target for other fish that may think they're an easy snack. These delicate, slow-moving fish are often too slow to compete with quicker, more active community fish, and their flowing fins can be nipped at by other more active tankmates. This leads to stress, injury, and ultimately death. If you have a tank full of quick-swimming species like tetras, guppies, or danios, your fancy goldfish is going to be in constant danger, so it's best to keep them solo or with very calm, slow-moving fish in a separate tank setup. Tiger barbs are fun, active, and colorful, but they're also some of the most aggressive fish you can add to a community aquarium. These guys have a reputation for nipping fins and attacking slower-moving fish. So if you're adding them to a peaceful community setup, you're likely to see some injured fish or stressed-out fish trying to hide from their constant chasing. Tiger barbs may do well in a species-only tank or with other barbs that can hold their own, but they're just too aggressive for a mixed-species tank. If you want a peaceful setup, don't add tiger barbs. While they may look like little sharks, rainbow sharks and red-finned sharks are not your typical peaceful aquarium fish. These semi-aggressive species often become territorial as they grow, and they'll chase and harass smaller fish. They're often placed in community tanks, but they tend to bully their tank mates, especially in smaller spaces. These sharks are best suited for tanks where they're the only semi-aggressive species, not in a peaceful community. Clownfish are often thought to be peaceful, but here's the problem. They need an anemone to thrive in a community setup. Without one, they can get stressed and show aggressive behavior, especially if there are other fish that come too close to their territory. In most tanks, you'll find that clownfish start to take over areas of the tank, bullying smaller fish or other fish that swim too close. They also require special care in terms of water conditions and tank setup to be kept healthy and happy, which can be difficult for beginners. Lastly, let's talk about the most famous carnivores, piranhas. You might think they're exciting and fun, but in a community tank, they're a nightmare. Piranhas are highly aggressive, especially when they're hungry. They'll attack anything that moves, and that includes your other fish. They should never be kept with other species unless you're ready for a highly controlled environment. For the majority of hobbyists, keeping piranhas in a community setup is a bad idea. All right, so there you have it. The 10 worst community fish choices you should avoid at all costs. Choosing the wrong fish can cause stress, injury, and even death to your other fish. So always do your research before adding any new species to your tank. Remember, creating a peaceful, thriving community tank is all about choosing the right fish that will coexist peacefully. Don't just pick fish based on how pretty they look. Think about their temperament, tank requirements, and compatibility with other fish. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your fellow fish keepers, and subscribe for more tips and tricks on keeping your aquarium happy and healthy. See you next time, and happy fish keeping!